Hello, Henry DeGrow here with a review of a couple of amplifiers. Now these are very small mini amps that I play around with and use for different projects. This one is the AK-380 and this other one is kind of hard to find a name for. It's sort of unbranded, but if you look on the back, on the bottom, you'll find that they're hiding this kind of information. I guess it's an APPT audio Minidamp hi-fi amplifier. And that 50 watts per channel is maximum, so at most you're going to get about 25 watts per channel out of this little amp. It has some very nice connectors in the back, but you'll notice that it has just inputs here and Bluetooth. So that's what it is, line in and Bluetooth. Also, one of the things, it's a variable input voltage. So you can use any DC voltage between 9 and 24 watts. The one that I used 24 volts, between 9 and 24 volts. I use a 24 volt power supply for the tests that I did today. So it's an attractive amp, and it's very small and lightweight. This one is, I've used the kind of the lesser version of this one, and I've done some reviews on the AK-370 that I like, that is a lot smaller than this amp. Well, significantly smaller. And it has a red output. Originally, this had like a blue volume knob and a red LED, and I didn't care for that aesthetically, so I I preferred the 370. The 370 is a little harder to find, and when they changed this to a blue on blue, I thought, well, maybe I can make that work aesthetically in a nice build, because my speaker projects have a bit of art thrown into them. But so here I am trying to test these two amps and see which one's better. Now what I did was I hooked up a set of speakers to my Harman Kardon amplifier here. So I do a frequency sweep with this big $400 high quality amplifier, and then I do the same sweep under the same conditions with these two amps, and you'll see the difference between those. Now this one, when you turn it on, the on switch is kind of hidden in that you turn the knob, nothing happens, there's no switch, but on off is written there, and you got to push and hold, and that turns it on. It's not plugged in right now. And when it turns on, it does so with a slight pop. There is a bit of a cheapness to that, in that it pops, boom, in the speakers when you turn it on. Now this one has a push button volume knob volume button right here, and there's no pop or boom when you turn that on. Now this also has a couple other things. It does have a spot where you can plug in a data stick that you have some music stored on, even an SD card you could play music from. I think maybe this one has an SD card too. No, I guess not. Thought it did. Oh yeah, here it is. It's got like a little place where you can put in a some other storage device with music on it, and I guess it does have a USB input too, and AUX in the front. So that's nice, I guess. Yeah, sure. So now this one, for these tests, I used an RCA cable, but back here there's also a AUX input, like a headphone kind of jack. Now this unit, the AK-370, has FM. So there's a radio for this amplifier, and I guess I could turn it on quickly just to kind of prove it. Here we go. Yeah. And that's our quarter volume. So this is, okay, you know, this might be 20 watts, but it is screaming loud. Plenty of power to fill your garage or workroom in this thing. I have it hooked up for these tests. Let's turn that down. And now I'm just going to turn it off. For these tests, I use these Bose speakers that I just refurbished. So I hooked up a couple of Bose speakers. I have a calibrated microphone here. And first I hook up my HK and the Harman Kardon, and I run a frequency sweep with that. And then I do the same one on the other two. Now here are the two amplifiers that we're testing today. Just kind of show you. This one is for sale here at Walmart for about $35. The other one, let's see, what do we got here? It's also on eBay for about $18, and I'm not sure if that includes shipping. So, ever important. And then here's the AK-380 from Temu for $23. Now these are dirt cheap amplifiers, so you can't beat the price. And I've used them in several projects, and I like them a lot. Okay, so there you go. Now let's look at the frequency responses. If I can bring this up. Not sure why I can't. Okay, now I guess we'll just skip to the overlays, and let's fix that. That's probably fine. I'm not sure. Anyway, so now here's the frequency response with the Harman Kardon. Now it looks very jagged and up and down, but that's just because I've used a large scale here. I've zoomed in on the frequency response, and I haven't done much smoothing. So I could smooth, usually when people show these curves, they're totally smoothed out using smoothing programs, and I just haven't done that. And they use a scale over here on the left that's large, so that crushes the data into kind of a flat line. But I have not done that here. So you can see the ups and downs. Now, so this is the, you might say, and plus I'm in my basement here with poor acoustics, lots of reflections, lots of places like here where the frequencies around 100 hertz tend to cancel out in some places. So you get some troughs there. That's a very frequent trough around 100 hertz. So this is the frequency response from the Harman Kardon. So this is kind of like the good one, the standard. And this is the one for the Minidamp amplifier. So if I add that, it's kind of hard to see it because it falls pretty much on top of the HK, that Harman Kardon. So that's great. Okay, it's tracking right on top of the HK, which is good. You know, it makes me really pleased that I can get a good amplification of music for like $30 instead of $330 with the HK. Okay, so and then I can add in the AK-380, and it is identical in many ways until you get to the low end. For whatever reason, the low end, you know, I thought maybe if we saw a difference, it would probably be in the low end, because the low end is a little harder for the amplifier to produce. And that panned out. The 380 kind of drops off and produces less in the low end. And this is pretty substantial. This is like 10 dBs, which is noticeably less bass. But this is pretty low. This is like 40 hertz. So this is, you know, the low E string. So both of the amps sound great, but you might notice a drop in the bass for the 380. So that's, I don't know, that's my review. Okay, both of the amps are pretty nice. The 380 is cheaper and it has a radio, and it's gonna give you a great sound. It doesn't pop. There's lots of things that I like about it, but if you're a little more picky and you want something that's a little bit better bass, look around for that Minidamp amplifier. Both of them are very good value and cheap. So I think that's all I wanted to say in this video. There you go.